A world-famous detective comes out of retirement to help his bumbling grandson solve a string of bizarre and cartoonish murders. In a movie that I'm positive is gonna get us canceled. We watched Charlie Chan and The Curse of the Dragon Queen for some reason, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, today on Nothing Movies.
Welcome back to the most racist bullshit we've ever done on this podcast, everyone. No, welcome back.
And that's saying something.
Welcome back to Nothing Movies, where we ask the question, the fuck is this? How did they let this happen in 1981 of all years?
Yeah, I was like, man, they had a lot of growing up to do in the 1970s, and I checked the release date on this, I'm like,
nope.
Motherfucker.
Even later.
You think this isn't a recent thing? Like, remember Ghost in the Shell and Aloha? Like, this is not.
I do now.
This is not a bygone era thing.
No.
We're never really past this.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I can't even say it was a different time. It's just that times haven't changed.
What is the most recent one? Is Ghost in the Shell the most recent example of something like this? Is Ghost in the Shell the proverbial straw? Was that the moment that Hollywood said maybe
the proverbial straw hat?
Maybe we can't do this anymore?
No, see, I don't think there is a straw that camel's back because everybody's going to try to get away with something else again and again. Like
someone's just waiting. A producer is just waiting to see but when can we do Yellowface again? Yeah. When will it be acceptable?
And that producer's name? Vince McMahon.
It's never going to not be a thing if especially if you need like a high profile actor to be in a role, they're gonna fudge some numbers, they're gonna change a few things to make it approach. Because the thing with Ghost in the Shell is that it wasn't Scarlett Johansson playing an Asian character. She was playing a character whose name you don't know, and then in the end you find out that she was based off this other character who happened to be Asian. But also think about
wasn't the deal with that movie is that she was in fact playing an Asian character and she was given like a white lady skin?
No,
because she got amnesia and she didn't remember that she was an Asian person?
The entire time she's only referred to as Major or the Major.
Uh-huh.
But because her actual name is Motoko, which is not an English name.
That would have been a dead giveaway, sure.
But it's also things like in Altered Carbon where
right, that was another thing that came out at the same time that roughly had the same plot as that.
Yeah, it starts as like this one character in this world where you can implant your mind into the body of another human being. The show and the book starts out with this guy. Or I'm not even sure if the book might be more consistent with what the character looks like.
From what I remember from the TV show, it's more or less like a voluntary get out situation where it is your consciousness getting implanted into the shell of a dead person.
Yeah. But in the show, the original version of the character is a Japanese man named like Takakura or Takura or something like that, and then he dies in like the first 5 minutes of the episode. But then his consciousness is uploaded into white guy actor who's the lead of the show. That runs for 2 seasons, and then it happens again. They put him into another person's body.
Yes, right. but the third time they put him into Anthony Mackie's body, so it's okay by that point. They've earned some cred.
But like I think one of the unintended consequences, and I don't think the producers or anyone involved had realized that this is what happened. But I think the unintended consequence is like this guy has problems that need to be solved. He can't solve them as an Asian man, but he can solve them as a white man.
You could also add into this discussion. Hopper's is a bit of a different situation. This character actively wants to be a beaver, and people are actively trying to make her not be a beaver, but she wants to be a beaver for her own purposes, but it is also another example of that happening.
She can't solve her problems as herself, but she can solve them as a beaver?
Absolutely, yeah, gotcha. Yes, that's step one.
That's
step
the
one.
The only way where it's okay.
That's the only way all this is going to work, if I am beaver.
Society is prejudiced against women. Beavers have more rights than women, or what you're saying.
In certain circumstances, in these circumstances, they certainly are. Well, anyway, welcome back to Nothing Movies. Everybody. I'm Kaz.
I'm Jameson.
And with us, returning to the show after a long time, far too long, one of our first guests, Brett Willis, is back on the show.
Hello, everybody.
And all of this talk about Yellowface and Orientalism are, of course, because we are here today to talk about the career of Michelle Pfeiffer. Why else would we be? What other discussion would we be here for? But no, we are going back to the very beginning of her career, one of her very first roles in 1981's Charlie Chan and the Curse of the Dragon Queen.
Yeah, a role that I'm sure she would love if everyone forgot. Yeah, I love not to be a part of this. Kaz, I recall months ago we did an episode on Morgan Freeman, and you issued the statement that we could not at any point do a Morgan Freeman impression because that would be offensive.
That ban is lifted. We are allowed to do Morgan Freeman
you have,
all throughout this episode.
You have torn that bandit off. You have crumpled it, lit it on fire, dumped the ashes into the ocean. Peed in the ocean.
Look, every once in a while, I like to do.
Are a hypocrite? Yeah.
What's the difference? I'm not doing a voice. Blame two-time Academy Award winner Peter Ustinov. I'm not the one doing this fucking thing here.
He's blameless in this.
Occasionally to the chagrin of my partner Jameson here, sometimes I will do bits that are related to the movie, either taking on the persona of the character or trying to.
Better fucking not do this, Cora.
That will not be happening today. I was trying to find any angle that would work with this, but no such thing.
Yeah.
No. So we'll talk about Michelle Pfeiffer, but just to start things off, Charlie Chan. Is this something either of you are familiar with?
Yes, actually, because I know that it was a series of movies from before the war, which makes a little more sense, where it was this exact setup.
This is an old ass series. This is one of like the oldest series. Well, I'm not even going to say like modern fiction, because after this movie in 1981, they have never made another Charlie Chan movie.
Go figure.
To the delight of audiences everywhere.
Yeah, but I believe at the time they were sort of the Knives Out series of their day, right? They were sort of like these roving Agatha Christie tribute stories.
It's very
detective stories. Yeah, where
definitely Knives Out is the only parallel like we currently have right now. I mean, we just generally need more detective movies.
Absolutely,
which is why those Knives Out movies work so well. But no, this was a huge franchise. In the golden era of Hollywood, if we want to call it that. So, just a little bit of context here. So, Charlie Chan is a fictional Honolulu police detective created by Earl Derbiggers. His first appearance was in the 1925 novel The House Without a Key, and he was created as an alternative to the yellow peril stereotypes. There's a lot of irony in the fact that this is a character who's become synonymous with outdated stereotypes and whitewashed casting, because he was initially created to provide a more positive and heroic Chinese portrayal, because as you look at this movie, you look at like the past portrayals of Charlie Chan in the 30s and the 40s, and you cringe a little bit, but then you remember it used to be a lot worse.
He was trying to do them a solid.
I think this is it is interesting that that's the origin for the desire to have this character, because the yellow peril thing, it's something that remained in movies for like well past 1981. Like a lot of the stereotypes that this movie claims to be, this series claims to have been fighting against. They're still
the series. I wouldn't say this movie claims any of those things.
No, but like there's been a trend in Hollywood for many decades about what to actually do with Asian male characters in cinema, and it's different than how you treat black males in cinema as well. They represent different things to the large scale white audiences, and it's something that if you think of things like Romeo Must Die, we've got Jet Li in there. It's supposed to be Romeo and Juliet, and then Romeo doesn't end up with the girl at the end of it, because he's just there to beat people up.
Well, spoilers for Romeo Must Die. I had it in my queue. Thank you very much.
From what, 1996?
I was just about to get around to it. I was going to have a DMX weekend. There is... it's so rare for Asian leading men in Hollywood. I think we can have a completely different discussion about Asian leading women, but certainly it seems like there's like one progressive role that comes around like once every 10 years, and then everyone pats themselves on the back and says like, that's good, right?
Yeah,
we don't
we've
really
solved racism.
Exactly.
It's done. Yeah.
We made this, and then for every other time, you're an actor of that background, you're trying to get cast in that. There's some executive in an office going, interesting. Do you know Kung Fu?
Yeah.
Because that would help. We could rewrite this so that you know karate.
Yeah. Now I understand Emma Stone is not half Chinese and half Korean.
What? I'm just learning about this.
What if
just hearing about this right now?
Yeah.
The first Charlie Chan movie was 1926's The House Without a Key. It was the first on-screen appearance of Chan, where he was played by Japanese actor George Kurt. 1927's The Chinese Parrot cast a different Japanese actor, Kamiyama Sojin. In both films, Chan is a minor supporting character.
Okay.
So, the first on-screen appearance of Charlie Chan was by an Asian actor. The wrong ethnicity, but, I guess the tiniest of points for trying.
I mean, they still do that today.
Sure,
It's not better. It's
No.
like the Asian actor diaspora has essentially, like, you can play anything as long as you have vaguely the right skin tone.
Right. So his first film as a lead character was 1931's Charlie Chan Carries On, where he's played by Swedish actor Warner Oland, who had also
That's like the whitest person you can find for something
pretty
like
much.
this. God damn.
Who had also played previous pop culture Asian character Dr. Fu Manchu. Less said about
lovely.
that, the better. Oland played Chan in 16 films, often alongside Chinese-American actor Ki Luke as number one son, Li Chan.
I was wondering if that was like
Look,
the actual name of
This
the
is
character.
this is the affectation. There's really no getting around it. This is how Chan refers to his many offspring. He numbers all of them. That Owen died in 1938, and Sidney Toler took over, playing Chan in 11 films until 1942.
How many of these fucking movies have they made?
Too many.
Yeah,
they released like 2 a year, man. Like these were
man.
like there weren't as many movies back then, and they just they reused the same sets.
They could have tried not being racist.
Could they have though? It was 1938,
That's
man.
true,
There was some shit going
They
on
had
in
a
the
war
world.
to
Yeah.
fight.
They had several wars to fight. Yeah. So in 1942, Fox declines to produce any more Chan pictures, so Sidney Toler purchased the rights himself and made 11 more independently produced Charlie Chan
Good
films.
fucking lord.
And this is
rivaling the MCU at this point.
Oh, it's long past that. It's
God
whatever.
damn.
It's like Chan and Sherlock Holmes and like Robin Hood. That's how many of these movies exist out there. He's joined by his number 2 son, number 3 son, and in one case, his number 4 son. He also got a new sidekick in African-American chauffeur Birmingham Brown, played by Mantan Moreland, who appeared in at least 13 of these movies. When Toler died in 1946, Chan was taken over by Roland Winters for 6 films. Guess what his ethnicity was?
A British guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ki Luke would return to the series after several years away. 1949's The Sky Dragon was the last American-produced Chan film until the 1973 TV film The Return of Charlie Chan, a.k.a. Happiness is a Warm Clue. Character has also appeared in Spanish films where he was played by Orlando Rodriguez and Anibal Del Mar, actual Chinese films where he's played by Zhu Xingyong and Li Ying, and a Hanna-Barbera 16-episode cartoon show called Charlie Chan and the Chan Clan, where he is voiced, appropriately, by Ki Luke, the actor who originally played his number 1 son, who is the only Asian American actor to ever play Charlie Chan in any medium.
You know, it's kind of
in the cartoon.
Considering like the bulk of the material about this guy, it's somewhat impressive the amount that it's been swept under the rug. That it's like kind of remaining in the dustbin of history.
Well, I wouldn't say it's swept under the rug. I would just say it's largely forgotten. Yeah.
If you look on the IMDb for it, there is a image of a Charlie Chan TV series that's currently in production,
Starring a
just kinda
Chinese
yes.
actor. Okay, good.
I mean,
that's
the actual least they could do.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing. I think there is a desire for these types of storytellings. Like detective stories have always been interesting to write. It's just creating more appropriate surroundings for them.
Oh, there's absolutely no reason why Charlie Chan can't make a comeback. It's just, do
it the right way.
Fucking do the right thing. And actually, is there any news on who they're planning on casting?
No, I think there's no cast list looking on the site for it. There's just an image of an Asian actor in the leading role, but I think it's just a mock-up saying this is what we want this to look like.
Okay.
Which you could have an interesting Chinese American.
Sure, absolutely.
A character-driven detective TV series, and it would make perfect sense. There's nothing inherently wrong with the core idea of what Charlie Chan is, and admittedly, I haven't seen a lot of the old movies from the 30s, but I think this is one of the questions that really comes up. It is inherently racist to have somebody caked in yellowface doing these roles, but at the same time, what are they actually doing? Is the character a joke, or is he an actual competent detective who for reasons that made sense in the 30s, you wanted to cast an actor who you could rely on more, and they felt that they could rely on white actors more.
They depict him as the greatest detective of his generation, of the era. So he's a competent lawman, and he always gets his man.
Yeah.
I assume, having not seen anything, but like his reputation always precedes him.
Sure, if we're just going off of this movie,
this one movie that I saw,
this one movie, which is sort of a parody of the detective genre to begin with, because it is just goofballs McGillicuddy the entire time. But, you know, at least from this portrayal, yeah, Chan is like a respected individual. Like the police force have every belief in him that he will solve the case.
He comes out of retirement to solve this unsolvable case. So,
you know, if he has like distinctive traits or catchphrases other than number one son. I didn't pick up on it on this, so, you know, like, yeah, but, yeah, make a TV series out of it, add some depth and character to it. I'm just trying to think of, like, an older Chinese-American actor who could play this, but of course, the well is so thin, you know, like, you always, like, every
James
time...
Hong is too old.
Yes, James Hong is a bit too old,
I'm not sure if Sammo Hung is still alive anymore.
I mean, no, he's still alive. He was great in a movie I saw a couple of years ago called Twilight of the Warriors. Yeah, I mean, that's not a terrible idea. His grasp on English isn't the best, but, you know, because Charlie Chan is from Hawaii.
I think one of the other problems you run into is that while there's a slew of new, young, very talented Asian actors working now.
Charlie Chan beginnings.
Yeah, the older generation of those actors are not people who were working steadily in the 80s in these minor roles, but now they've either aged out. There's very few of those real middle-aged actors, because a lot of the ones that were when they were being used, they've all aged out of it, and then there's this period where you weren't getting enough young people coming in to really kind of fill that gap in between.
What's Chow Yun-fat up to these days? Because he seems like he'd be age appropriate for something like this, like a reboot series. This is all research we should have done.
He's definitely, yeah, man. He continues to be alive. You know,
good man.
Despite his best effort.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
The other thing is that you don't just need like I think you hit on it with Sammo Hung. You don't just need like an actor of like a certain age to play Charlie Chan. You need a big boy. This is the thing, is like this needs to be like fat main character representation. This is what I want.
Gotcha.
No more of this Colin Farrell as the Penguin bullshit. I want like a real chonky boy in this lead role. So you know,
couple of Big Macs in his rider.
Hire BD Wan and then feed him like 20 Whoppers or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah. Switching gears
Still
here
part
for a little bit.
part of the conversation.
Still part of the conversation. She is ostensibly in this movie.
She is.
Yeah, I asked you what actor you wanted to talk about, and that was your pick. I mean, always love her. What's your Michelle Pfeiffer take? What are your feelings?
I'm not necessarily sure if she's having a bit of a renaissance now, but she feels like she's popping up in a lot more stuff.
Well, look, I'll
recently.
tell you what. I turned on my Apple TV to start watching Charlie Chan and the Mystery of the Dragon not Dragon Lady.
Tears of the Dragon Queen.
Yeah, to watch this movie, and I was immediately greeted with a promo for Margot Has Money Trouble, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, now playing on Apple TV Plus. We're not sponsored by Apple TV Plus, but we certainly seem to be recommending a lot of their programming lately. So anyway, go check it out. But yeah, no, she's definitely having a bit of a career bump. She definitely had certainly like peaks and a pretty huge valley of her career where she just wasn't appearing in films at all. But yeah, for the past 10 years, she's been back and she's been killing it.
And I think she was a Hollywood darling in the early 90s, or like fresh off the Batman Returns.
Mm-hmm. Well, she had a long career before she got into Batman Returns.
Yeah, but I remember like it's one of those, this is an actor that was referenced in the early episodes of Animaniacs.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, because she was the it girl, I think, of the time that those shows were being produced.
She had a prominent role on The Simpsons back before they stopped just getting celebrities to play themselves on The Simpsons and had them play actual characters.
Yeah, she's just had this. She had this. Was one of those actors that had a very big impact for this time period, and then disappeared for maybe personal reasons, maybe work related reasons. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information, but then. Has this moment where she can come back and just kind of get back into it. And I think there's a real nice new demand for, older actresses are now becoming leads again. They're in new material coming out, even if there's had a bit of a career drought, and it's really fascinating to see. Like what I've seen her in too is like she hasn't lost her touch.
Yeah. And even if the leading roles in independent features aren't coming at a steady clip, you can still suckle on the teat of Big Marvel, which she has been happy to do for the past decade.
Yeah, from the barest I've looked into, like just on like her career, very much an it girl when she first hit the scene, playing like a lot of love interests, a lot of sexy femme fatale types. And she didn't want to be typecast doing all that. So I think at one point she said, can I just have some more dramatically heavy roles? And they said, sure. They gave her some. And then she's just like, okay, I think I have my fill of that. Walks away from the spotlight for a little bit. And then people just recall like, oh, well, she's still a working actress.
And also, I just remembered we love her. I just remembered she's great.
Yeah. So like now we just have like this veteran actor who, he looks good on a marquee, and she's available, and we all love Michelle Pfeiffer.
Well, she's still a name today.
Yeah.
Like, you put Michelle Pfeiffer, think, I haven't thought about her in a long time, and then you like, I remember that I liked her.
Mm-hmm. And for a woman of certain years, her age I won't mention because it is not.
It's impolite.
It is improper and impolite, but I shall just say she's still smoking. She's still absolutely just like a stunning woman.
Oh, I think it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I want to change roles so I'm not typecast as just like the sexy one. But if you need sexy, she'll give you fucking sexy.
Yeah.
Her role as Catwoman made me a man.
So I'm going to breeze through this. Her first credit, I think, is really interesting. I did not know this even existed, but her first major credit, in 1979, she appears on a 13-episode ABC sitcom called Delta House, which is a spin-off of National Lampoon's Animal House.
Oh, I think I heard about that, yeah.
John Vernon, Bruce McGill, and Stephen Furst all reprise their roles. Pfeiffer plays a character called The Bombshell, who was in every episode except for the pilot. The sitcom did not have the R-rated humor of the movie and was immediately a flop. Her first lead role was in 1982 in Grease 2. A pretty terrible movie that she, nonetheless, is still pretty fucking charming in. She's got a couple of great songs.
Can she sing?
I mean, she could sing in that.
Okay, all
so,
right.
and of course, she's in a musical, which is going to pop up on her filmography in a little bit here. So, Michelle Pfeiffer can absolutely sing.
Right.
Yeah. Then, of course, she followed up Grease 2 with Brian De Palma's Scarface.
Yeah.
Where she plays the cocaine-loving Elvira to Pacino's Tony Montana.
Mm-hmm. Scene stealing.
Then a couple of movies here. She's in John Landis's Into the Night with Jeff Goldblum, a very strange and forgotten movie with a labyrinth plot.
I suggested we do that for a Michelle Pfeiffer episode just because I think it's a double whammy where we get to include a discussion about Jeff Goldblum and John Landis, but you insisted on the Yellowface movie. Folks, I tried.
Yes, he tried desperatly to
but like a moth to a flame, that Kaz Lescard, you love stirring the pot.
Yes, he tried desperately, dear listener, to get us to talk about completely unproblematic John Landis. Yes, that guy has done nothing wrong. But
the Twilight Zone movie thing wasn't his fault.
I think you will find a big contingent of people who will
sabotaged the helicopter?
disagree with you.
Oh no!
Okay, we can't. No, this is okay. Look, we'll do a Jeff Goldblum episode at some point in time, and we'll talk about Into the Night then. This is a heavy enough subject as it is. We don't need to talk about John Landis. Jesus Christ. She's in Richard Donner's Lady Hawk, where she plays a lady who turns into a hawk. 1987, she's one of the titular witches of Eastwick, alongside Cher and Susan Sarandon. 1988, a great movie. She's in Jonathan Demme's Married to the Mob. Either of you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Delightful movie. She's so smoking hot in that. She's so funny. She just plays like this spark plug of a mob wife. Her husband gets rubbed out and she tries to avoid the same thing happening. Just a fun comedy.
Cool.
Remember those?
Yeah.
This was the beginning of this was the first time Married to the Mob where she earned a Golden Globe nomination and where she kept up for a 6-year streak of Best Actress nominations at the Golden Globes. Also in 1988, she starred in Dangerous Liaisons with Glenn Close and John Malkovich, earning her first Oscar nomination and winning her a BAFTA for Best Supporting Actress. 1989, she got what's often considered her best performance in a movie I still have not seen yet, as Susie Diamond, a stunning lounge singer caught between brothers Jeff and Beau Bridges in The Fabulous Baker Boys, earning her a second Oscar nomination in the process. So it's just a movie where Jeff and Beau play dueling piano lounge singer, lounge piano player acts, and then they hire her on as the lounge singer, and a little love triangle starts up. But it's just you're asking if Michelle Pfeiffer can sing. That's an entire movie where she does nothing but sing and look sexy in hot dresses.
I'm thinking about like the dueling jazz piano.
I maybe shouldn't have said dueling pianos.
I'm thinking of that. It's like that scene in Roger Rabbit with Daffy Duck and Donald Duck.
They're dueling in love. They're not dueling at the ivories.
Like a battle of the bands.
But then again, I haven't seen the movie. Who knows? Maybe they do some dueling
Hey, you
pianos.
know what? I think that's exactly what happens.
You know what? Let's say that, yes. 1991, she reteams with Pacino for romantic comedy Frankie and Johnny in a slightly controversial bit of casting, as at the time Pfeiffer was considered too beautiful to play an ordinary waitress from the Broadway adaptation.
Oh, shucks.
Kathy Bates expressed disappointment that she was not asked to reprise her role for the stage. So you can see how in the original production, if you're casting Kathy Bates, and then the movie version does Michelle Pfeiffer, you can see that some people maybe might have an issue with that.
I can see Kathy Bates having an issue with that.
Yeah, well, Kathy Bates has had multiple issues over her career, so, I mean, we love her. She's one of the
Kathy
best.
Bates.
And then, yes, 1992, when Annette Bening dropped out of the role due to her pregnancy, Pfeiffer got the role of Selina Kyle in Tim Burton's Batman Returns, sparking the sexual awakening for comic nerds and bondage freaks the world over.
And a surprising turn from her, a character that is so unlike so many things that she was played before, and just knocks it out of the park. Finding the weird creepiness in the character that fits so well in a Tim Burton film.
Starting as that like nervousy, mousy kind of gal, and then just like a transformation before your eyes of just that sulky, seductress type. Did all her own whip stunts, didn't she? Yeah.
That's one of my favorite behind the scenes sequences too, where they're just showing her doing like the whipping the heads off the mannequins, and she has to do it all in one take, and then as soon as they yell cut, she like jumps up and down in glee, just all like, I did it! I practiced this for months!
And I bet you all the men on set immediately stopped with the cat calling and the whispers behind her back.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Also hell to get out of that costume and back in, but also just like
cat calling.
Just be able to watch her in a scene with Christopher Walken and truly seem like she belongs in this scene.
Of course.
It's like that is a hard task for any veteran actor, and she nails it.
Look, and no shade towards Anne Hathaway, no shade towards Zoe Kravitz, but no one is ever going to beat this Catwoman. This is the definitive Catwoman now and forever.
For film.
For film.
I'm not super crazy about the Tim Burton Batman movies, but they got a lot of the casting right for what they're trying to do, and yeah, she fucking nailed that Catwoman part.
Yeah.
1992, her production company produced the drama Love Field, where she plays a Texan housewife obsessed with Jackie Kennedy who unravels after the president is assassinated. Earning her third and to date final Oscar nomination, Love Field has been entirely forgotten by most film lovers. We could conceivably do that as a nothing movie, but I chose not to because it sounds boring. 1993, she stars alongside Daniel Day-Lewis and Winona Ryder in Martin Scorsese's period drama The Age of Innocence. Also in 1993, she marries David E. Kelley, prolific TV show creator, whom she is still married to this day. One of the longest marriages in Hollywood.
Oh, good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah. 94. Good for him. Yeah, not too bad. 94, she reteams with Witches of Eastwick co-star Jack Nicholson for Mike Nichols' Wolf, a movie I really wanted to like while I was watching it, and then when it was over, I'm all like, I suppose that was a movie, wasn't it? Yeah, all right, yeah. That was like a whole run in the 90s. They had like this run of like trying to like class up the Universal monsters with Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And even though this one isn't like technically based on like the Wolfman, it still feels like it fits in on there.
It's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and you watch all three of those and it's like, there's stuff I like about these, but all three of these aren't very good. Yeah, and then 1995, she changed the way we saw teachers forever by taking a chair, turning it around, and sitting on it backwards.
Just being real.
Just being it real. Just
all right, kids, let's rap.
Just talking to these kids on their own level. In Dangerous Minds, a movie that is only remembered for the music video. I point a gun at a room full of people and say, like, has anyone here actually seen the film Dangerous Minds? And you got a massacre on your hands, buddy. But if you ask them if they've seen the Coolio music video, which Michelle Pfeiffer is also in, then we got a different situation.
Also heavily featured in Weird Al's Amish Paradise.
Is Michelle Pfeiffer in that music
No,
video?
but they get
Oh.
somebody who looks a lot like her to,
Well, fair enough.
suck in their cheeks and sit on a chair backwards as an Amish woman.
And then, yeah, I mean, like, she's steadily in movies throughout the rest of the 90s and the early 2000s, but it starts becoming, like, a little less, like, stick in the brain popular. So we've got, like, stuff like Up Close and Personal, One Fine Day with George Clooney. She's a voice in The Prince of Egypt.
Yep. That's a pretty good movie, too.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't do a ton in it, but, like, she's part of the cast. She's in Midsummer's Night Dream as the Queen of the Fairies. She's in What Lies Beneath, where she's in the bathtub. Everyone remembers the bathtub. No one remembers that movie, but they remember Michelle Pfeiffer's in the bathtub.
I've never even heard of this fucking
And there's
movie, but
like-
now I know there's a prominent bathtub in it.
You don't remember, she's starting to suspect something. Who? Your wife. And she's, like, possessed by a ghost. It's her and Harrison Ford.
Whoosh.
Yep.
Wow. Should have been covering that movie on this show.
Yeah, anything.
Of course, she plays a sympathetic lawyer trying to get Sean Penn's daughter back in I Am Sam.
Right.
That's a big woof, but whatever. She's fine in it, you know.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to pretend to be differently abled. And then, her last role for a bit, another voiceover role in, again, this is another movie we could have covered, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas.
Oh, they made another one of those?
They made the animated Sinbad. This is the one with Brad Pitt and
Oh,
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That's what I was thinking of when you said the animated movie.
Yeah, it's like a DreamWorks one.
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
a good one, yeah.
So she plays this. Yeah, she plays the sexy villain in that.
Yeah.
I think she plays Moses' mother in Prince of Egypt.
Okay.
So but yeah, she plays.
Both good movies. Yeah.
Sure. But then from 2003 to 2007, she's just not in any movies. Hard stop.
You know, it kind
Where
of sounds like she doesn't need to be because she was working steadily for like 20 or so years. She's got a couple of Oscar noms under her belt. I think she just felt, I think I'm good to just like
she might
pump
have
the brakes for a
she
little.
might have chosen to just spend time with her family,
Yeah.
which is what a lot of people choose to do. But in 2007. And I remember this year, I remember this being like the big Michelle Pfeiffer comeback year because she's got two standout roles that signify the fact that she was back. The musical that I mentioned, of course, Hairspray, which reunites her on screen briefly with Christopher Walken from Batman Returns, but she gets to be the bad guy this time.
Yep. And knocks it out of the park again.
Absolutely.
He was a bad guy in Batman Returns.
She's like an anti-hero. You know, Catwoman is always like flirting between the line between villain and hero. And also the Neil Gaiman adaptation Stardust, where she also plays the villain, where she plays like a murderous witch who's trying to get the heart of the star.
That came out in 2007.
That was a long
Fucking
time
hell,
ago.
I'm old.
Yeah, and so I remember those were like two big movies that were out that year, and it's all like, Michelle Pfeiffer, she's back!
Yeah.
I love to see her. And then from there, you know, she's just continued to work. She's great in a movie that doesn't totally work, but I think she's fantastic in Darren Aronofsky's Mother. If you ever saw that, she's great. Probably should have gotten an Oscar nomination for that. And then, of course, she's Janet Van Dyne in the Ant-Man films. And as I mentioned, she's previously starring in 2 different streaming shows, Apple Plus's Margot's Got Money Troubles, and also Paramount Plus's The Madison, which is yet another Taylor Sheridan cowboys doing something. Maybe there aren't even cowboys involved in it, I don't know, but she's in that one. So yeah, she continues to fucking crush it. She's an absolute legend.
Good for her, you know. I mean, there's a lot of these projects that I'm probably personally not going to put eyes on, but I'm glad that she's getting work because I've always kind of liked her as an actress. And good on you, lady. Yeah. Making it work for a woman your age. You know, there's a real problem in that not happening for starlets in Hollywood. So good on her.
Yeah, especially one who came up like it's an unfortunate reality of the industry when so many young actresses have a big moment when they're in their 20s and then Hollywood decides, nope, that was all you were good for. And she has continued to say, no, she's always got something to offer and she's always a worthwhile pick for any project. You can put her in anything and she will do a good job. And I think it's a good motivating force for a lot of young actors.
Yeah.
And then Charlie Chan and the Curse of the Dragon Queen. I found her cute and winning, and she does the best she can do with the material that she's given, and she's very aware of the material that she's been given. So you know, but like this is even before Grease 2, so this is like baby face Michelle Pfeiffer here. You know, like this we're really seeing her at just like the apex of her figuring out what her deal was.
But just sort of like zeroed in on, okay, so I'm like the doe-eyed girlfriend of this, like, oh, darling, aren't we in love? I love you so much. You're so brave and handsome. Yeah, a little beneath her, but whatever. She needed the work.
It was a paycheck back then. Yeah, exactly. She wasn't Michelle Pfeiffer then.
Hey, if you want to talk about it's just a paycheck, look at any of the Asian American actors in the background in this movie.
A lot more of them than I thought there were going to be. Look, when we get around to, we're going to take a break in a second. When we get around to talking about the movie, this movie wins like the biggest faint praise award because like there are plenty of times I'm watching this, I'm just all like, I guess it's nice that they employed lots of Asian extras. They're just like in like like they could have just in like regular scenario, and they're not.
How many Asian extras do we need to balance out the fact that our lead is in fucking yellowface?
Yes. Throughout this movie, I saw several Asian extras where I'm just all like, why didn't that guy play any of these roles?
Joe Takamura's in this movie.
Yes.
He could have been the guy.
He's the most prominent Asian actor in this movie, and he doesn't have any lines.
I mean, there's another example of something like, of quite the opposite. Like when you have a show like Firefly, a show that I love and I think is brilliant, a show where the universe is so heavily inspired by Chinese that a lot of the characters speak swear words in Mandarin, one, to get around the censors,
which is brilliant.
Two, to emphasize the fact that it was the world kind of came together and these two languages and cultures. And there, in the entire series, there is one Asian character who is an extra who rides a bike in front of the camera in the movie.
God damn.
So when Firefly shows in China, is it like fucking Goodfellas down there? Like it's just like every like 3 seconds they're just like saying like the nastiest shit.
I would love it if it's just like they just translated that into English.
Yeah.
So you watch the Chinese
so no one ever knows. All right. Well, we'll take a little break, and when we come back, we'll take. There are definitely harder movies that we've sat through than this, but
yes,
there was a lot of cringing going on.
There is, but there's a lot to talk about in it, so I can't wait.
Well, we'll see you soon. Number one listener.
our one listener.
Our number one. That's actually sadly accurate. We're back.
Yes, welcome back, everyone.
Charlie Chan and the Curse of the Dragon Queen. Two characters who are in this movie and who are played respectfully. This film is directed by Clive Donner, who has directed a whole bunch of wacky nonsense, so he fit right in here.
Yeah.
He directed What's New, Pussycat, classic screwball comedy with Peter Sellers and Woody Allen.
Okay.
He directed, hot off the heels of Young Frankenstein, he directed a film with David Niven called Old Dracula.
You can't just do that, Hollywood.
Well, he did.
Oh,
he sure did. He directed The Nude Bomb, which was the film adaptation of Get Smart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was the big screen version of that. He directed an Oliver Twist that I remember growing up watching because Tim Curry, of course, plays Sykes. And he directed the famously awful TV movie from the 80s, Babes in Toyland.
Oh, God.
With young Keanu Reeves and even younger Drew Barrymore. That one, that's a crazy film. Pat Morita plays Santa Claus in that one. Yeah. This is just one of those, it's something I saw as a kid, and I'm just like, I've never forgotten it. It has like people in mascot costumes driving around in go-karts. It looks like it was filmed on like a budget of like $500. Like it's just,
well, I might have to put eyes on this.
Yeah, maybe down the road that might be one. But
so this guy sounds like he has quite the zany track record. Very fitting, because this is potentially the zaniest movie we've ever covered.
I mean, it's up there. I mean, it's no Skidoo.
It's certainly not Skidoo.
But there's definitely some hijinks and some shenanigans.
There's
going on here.
There's a lot in this movie where it's like they are trying to do something and they're just not landing.
I'd say like 1 out of every 5 jokes manages to land like a little bit, but then every once in a while a joke will land and then they'll absolutely destroy it by like explaining the joke or like highlighting it in a way where it doesn't need to be.
But it's okay because the very next scene is going to be like this elaborate set piece. It's
like a 10-minute chariot race through Not Central Park,
Not
but
Central
somewhere
Park.
in San Francisco.
I mean, we're jumping ahead to what I think is maybe the most positive aspect of this movie is that chase scene ain't bad.
No.
Like, from a technical standpoint, you know, like, there's decent effects work, there's decent, like, stunt team work going on here. Like, it is like fucking Charlie Kaufman's brother saying it's like, it's a battle between machine and horse.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm gonna be just front-loading this discussion by saying that the practical stunt work for, like, a lot of the big comedic set pieces, like, when Buddy is walking through Chinatown and he just leaves a path of destruction in his wake, that's all well shot and all well constructed.
There's a lot of surprisingly good slapstick in this movie. Like, when the less time the characters spend talking, the better the movie is.
If you could watch this on mute, you'd have a way better fucking time with it.
If it was a silent film, it probably would play a lot better.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, we get to hear Charlie Chan talk often.
About nothing. He barely talks about what happens in the movie. He's like, the sage, like, ancient Chinese wisdom nugget, and then everything calls to shit around him, and then he just says another thing like that. Like, at the end of it, when he's like, I've pieced together all the clues and solved the mystery, we're just like, how? What did you see? You didn't do anything.
Most of his dialogue, when he just walks into a room, it's usually like to complain about something, like his sore feet, or the like young couples rushing into relationships and shit like that. It's like, aren't you here to solve a crime, Charlie?
It's classic the Sphinx dialogue from Mystery Men. Like, it's a whole lot of, like, witticisms, like, when sun is out, leave umbrella at home, or just, like, whatever. Like, it's just, like, an entire movie filled with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's, you know, just, like, the air of, like, he never fully, like, comes out and says Confucius say, but, like,
thank Christ for
that.
You
know it's, like, in, like, the back of some screenwriter's head, like, the entire time.
I bet all the Asian American extras threatened to walk out if they did something like that.
Honestly, it's probably the line he says to himself to get the accent down.
They
Before every line that he speaks. They just cut it out.
God damn.
Well, speaking of that, this movie, it probably won't surprise you to learn, was heavily picketed against by the Asian American community back when the Chinese American protesters tried to prevent this movie from being made in San Francisco. They picketed locations where this movie was shot and demonstrated outside cinemas in the U.S. where the movie was played. They were disapproving of the characters' chop suey pidgin English, fortune cookie proverbs, and Uncle Tom bowing and obsequiousness. So I read that and I barely was able to get through it all, but that's better said than anything I could say.
That takes care of at least 3 of my bullet points.
Just going through his notes and just like,
damn it,
bad. So we open on our
we open on then.
That's true. We do open on then. We open on Hawaii, and then the title card comes up then. But before even that, we're treated to
a James Bond-esque opening
original opening number sung by Charlie Chan himself. It's not even really fair to call this a song. It's more taking, I guess, like the Charlie Chan catchphrases and putting like a loose melody around them.
A loose, vaguely Asian melody.
Yes,
back.
lots of symbols, while the disembodied hand of the Dragon Queen flicks the ash off her cigarette. Mm-hmm. They really didn't try very hard for this opening thing.
And the font from a Chinese takeout box just strewn across
the font.
All the stars.
Exactly.
You know exactly what font I'm talking about.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so it gives you a good idea of what Peter Ustinov's voice is going to be.
It gives you one last chance to just duck out if you can.
To be fair to the film's credit, it does front load with all like fair warning.
This is what you're in for.
This is what we're going to give you.
Leave now if you would prefer.
You can always go
join the protest if you want.
It's 1981. You can always go see Raiders of the Lost Ark again, but no.
You bought your ticket, and thank you for that. But in all honesty, you can leave if you want.
We will.
We have your money. If you don't want to walk out, that's
this transaction is over. And anything that happens after this, that's your fault.
So we open in black and white.
Yes, it's the prologue to the case that Charlie Chan will come out of retirement for. It's at the stately manor of the Lupowitz family, and the patriarch has been murdered. It was suspected to be a suicide, but they call in Charlie Chan to suss out the crime, and he gets there with his with his son, number one son.
Yeah, I was about to say, what number is that son?
The number one son. And I just love how, like, the way that Charlie Chan, like, just, like, has his first few lines, and then he introduces his son, and the way that his son, played by an Asian American actor, he just goes, "Hey, everybody."
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, what's up, guys?
yeah.
Like, he's
aware of how much bullshit this is. They're all aware of it, but it's like 10 grand's 10 grand, you know?
Number one son, accompany me as usual. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, a more self-aware movie would have fun with the fact that we have, you know, we've made up this esteemed British thespian to play, like, a famous Asian American caricature, Charlie Chan. We've cast an actual Asian American actor to play his son,
but not his grandson.
But not his grandson. That is weird how it skips a generation. Yeah. But it's because the son is not even a character.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as we'll go on, this question will become more and more relevant. But the big question I wanted to know: what happened to the number one son? He is not in this movie after this prologue.
So what happens is Charlie Chan, he solves the murder case. He identifies the Dragon Queen as someone who was having an affair behind the guy's back.
To be fair, there's this drawing room full of potential suspects, and in the drawing room is the Dragon Queen. So it
who's referred to as that name.
Who has no other given name. She is only ever referred to as the Dragon Queen.
It's not a secret criminal identity. It's like, no, that's just her name. Here's her birth certificate.
So rigor mortis set in long after the man dies. So that must mean the culprit is the Dragon Queen.
I'm just saying, there's like this parlor room, like the butler's there, the maid is there, Charlie Chan's all like, I need to figure out who the murderer is. It was the Dragon Queen, and we point to
Charlie Chan is some detective.
And we go over to a woman who undeniably looks like the Dragon Queen, who's like smoking like a lawn cigarette and goes, "You'll never catch me, Charlie Chan."
Yeah. And in fact,
who could have guessed? The world's greatest detective.
Yeah. And then she's getting hauled away. She's like, "I curse you and your lineage, Charlie Chan." Yep. And at that point, that's when number one son drops the bombshell that he and the daughter of the murder victim are going steady. And that's our prologue.
And that sets up for modern day San Francisco, or as it says, modern San Francisco now. Yes, and we are introduced to, amazingly, the actual main character of this movie.
Lee Chan.
Debatable.
Sure, they kind of like split the lead here, but yes, Lee Chan, who is the grandson of both Charlie Chan and also Mrs. Lupowitz, the widow of the man who was murdered in the opening thing. So he's
the mother of the daughter that number one son fell in love with.
Yes. So he's half Jewish, half Chinese. He's played by Richard Hatch. Not an Asian person, as you can assume. No, he's probably best known from the original Battlestar Galactica, where he played Captain Apollo.
Okay.
IMDb trivia tells me that later on when they go to the nightclub scene, he orders a Captain Apollo on the rocks, and that is meant to be an homage to his role on Battlestar Galactica. I know this because IMDb trivia told me this, but by the time we got to the nightclub scene, that music was so loud I couldn't make out any line anyone was saying. Yeah. So thanks IMDb trivia for letting me know that was a thing that he even said, let alone an in-joke to a role from a TV show that no one remembers. But he is ostensibly our main protagonist here, and yes, he wants to be a detective, just like dear old grandpa
I'm not quite sure
Chan.
how old he is either. It's never really... He's getting married. He wakes up to a recording of his fiancée saying, "Hey, get up." Lives with his maternal grandmother, who I guess he's been living with this whole time.
Since childhood. It sounds like he was orphaned by number one son and his mother at an early age, left to be raised by the grandmother.
There's absolutely no mention of his father or mother, even once in
this. The guy's getting fucking married and his parents don't show up. What the hell's going on?
He's getting married to Michelle Pfeiffer, which is why we're talking about this movie. She plays Cordelia, some sort of like elaborate, like Vanderpump or whatever.
It's Michelle Pfeiffer.
It's Michelle Pfeiffer. It's maybe okay that his parents aren't showing up to the wedding, because as it turns out, her parents aren't showing up to the wedding. We see her ride up on a horseback. She falls off the horse and they fall down the hill.
Rolling down the hill.
What feels like 5 interminable minutes of them just like rolling down the hill.
Real fucking.
Does she live on the estate?
It
seems
feels like
she
she's
does.
like neighbors. It feels like
Yeah.
a real
Yeah.
gated community
Yeah.
where all of like these rich muckety mucks live. But she says, I just heard from my parents, they're not going to make it to the wedding because they're having so much fun in Albania. And I'm like, is that a reference to what was going on
in Albania
Yeah,
in
what was
the 80s?
happening in Albania in the 80s? I don't know, but that's the last we ever hear about her or her parents.
Right.
But yeah.
I don't think this movie would have put enough thought into actually referencing a real thing happening at the time.
Yeah, but what socio-economically was going on in Albania at the time? Was there
A rich
like
person conference.
Okay,
You
sure.
also have to remember, this isn't happening in 1981. It's happening now.
Oh, that's true. Yes. So
So whatever's going on in Albania right now, yeah, that's what they're doing.
But it's also, there's a bunch of very old cars driving around in the streets of San Francisco, as well as like current model
think that's-
cars in the 1980s.
I think that might just because they're rich families and they all have Rolls Royces.
But just random background cars. Like there's cars from the 50s and 60s just driving around in the city, like perfectly running fine.
That's
in
true.
the background. It doesn't really set like a coherent time frame.
Movies
for
just
this.
had too much budget back then. They didn't know what to do with. They were just throwing, not like now where
In this economy.
In this economy, yeah, exactly, yeah. So we're also introduced to the remainder of our cast. We're introduced to the Lupowitz family. We meet Mrs. Lupowitz, played by Academy Award winner Lee Grant. And she's still very much not over the death of her beloved Bernie.
Jesus Christ, like she's delirious as she's talking to his urn and is lamenting the fact that their grandson is wanting to grow up to be a detective, just like the detective who solved her fucking husband's murder.
Yeah, does she hate Charlie? She
I
must.
think there's some unspoken, subtle, maybe like racism with her.
No, it's
whatever.
you know what? I remember now because she says at the end, "You exposed my husband's affair to make and ruined his
to the
reputation."
Dragon Queen.
No, to the world because it was published in
That's
the papers.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
So her husband had an affair with the Dragon Queen, and he was going to leave the Dragon Queen and go back to his wife. So the Dragon Queen poisoned him.
Yeah.
Made it look like a suicide. Where she poisoned his tea and then she put a gun in his hand, and then as Charlie Chan expounds later, when rigor mortis sets in, the finger pulled the trigger. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't know if rigor mortis works like that. If so, I have to imagine a lot of people would be pulling this trick, because it seems like a pretty good way to do that.
She didn't account for his hand slipping and knocking a fork up in the air, discharging the gun and landing face up in a teacup. That's how Charlie Chan sussed it out.
Yes, the forked in a teacup case. That's what all the papers were calling it.
Yeah.
So we also meet Gillespie, the butler, played kind of delightfully by Roddy McDowell. And his one joke is that he is in an electric wheelchair, and he's not happy about anything.
This man fucking hates his life, and he's still doing it anyways, though.
And yet one of the most coherent characters in the entire movie,
Well,
because you know exactly what he's doing, what he's up to.
You know exactly what he's thinking, too, because more than half of his dialogue is just him sneering.
And most of his humor comes from, like they're having breakfast in their palatial estate or whatever, and it's all like, oh, here comes the grapefruit, and he just tosses the grapefruit at Lee, and then it's all like, oh, here's your lox and eggs, and he's just throwing the plate at him. He's just grabbing it before he can even take like a bite. He just doesn't care.
That was a genuine funny moment for me. I got a good laugh out of me. Just the mountain of bagels that are on this tray, and he's trying to cut them, and the butler's just coming in, like taking away everything that comes in, just like with a
completely wordless, just give me that, you fucking loser.
Before
full
you
of
have
disdain. No one says anything about
No.
it. This
Before
is
he has
just
a
how
ch-
Gillespie is.
Before he has a chance to take a bite out of his lox and eggs, he takes it away and replaces it with the grape and everything. That whole scene is structured like a Popeye cartoon.
Yeah.
And that was like when the shoe dropped for me, and I was just like, oh shit. Remember when we covered The Villain, which was like a really shit...
I was also thinking of the villain throughout this as well. Yeah,
Brett, The Villain is like this really crappy Western comedy starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Kirk Douglas, if you can believe it. And it's structured like a Wile E. Coyote bit where like he's trying to sabotage the good guys with like these elaborate traps, but it's done so boringly and the timing is really bad.
Like he quite literally paints a hole into the side of a mountain, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger goes through the hole, and then he's all like, "What?" And then he smashes into the hole.
If that had happened
That's
in
the
this
type of
movie,
yeah.
if that happened in this movie, I would not bat an eye.
I would welcome it almost. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is taking that premise of let's try to recreate a bunch of animation visual gags in live action, and I think it pulls it off.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously following in the footsteps of, like, the Pink Panther
Yeah,
and, like, Mad Mad World, and even, I mean, these movies were shot roughly at the same time, but even a little bit of the Blues Brothers in the sense where there's, like, a big crash with lots of, like,
a chase that rivals the car chase in Blues Brothers.
I'm gonna say Blues Brothers did it better,
of course,
we're also introduced to Mrs. Dangers, the maid, played by Academy Award nominee Rachel Roberts. Now, I don't always go through the Wikipedia page of every single actor in the movie, but as I was going down the IMDb trivia, one note caught my eye. It said, because of Rachel Roberts' fragile psychological health, the producers had another actress on standby just in case Roberts became unwell to the point she could no longer work. So I looked up this lady. This lady was like an esteemed actress of like the British stage and screen. She was previously married to Rex Harrison. Dr. Dolittle, My Fair Lady, Julius Caesar, Rex Harrison, whatever. She was one of his 6 wives. And apparently their marriage was so contentious and toxic, it led Rachel Roberts into a horrible bout of depressive alcoholism. To the point where she would become erratic at social gatherings and parties and was known to start acting like a border collie, where she would get down on all fours, start barking at people, and even at times biting their legs and breaking the skin. So to keep that in mind, and think about the performance that this woman gives in this movie, and it's one of like those like Gary Busey type situations where you're all like,
how much is she actually acting?
I don't actually think she's acting in this. I think this actually was like a very sad, disturbed woman that didn't know how to do anything else other than be in films, and people kept casting her and stuff.
Well, we should say that the main character is described as schizophrenic and paranoid, and
she has a real issue with memory. She's
a real loony bin, I tell you.
She can never remember Gillespie. Every time Gillespie enters the room, she's like, "Who are you?" He says, "Like, I'm Gillespie. I'm the butler. I work here." She says, "How do I know you're not a clone?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we going to explain that? It's like, no, it's just another wacky thing that this maid says.
It might not even be in the script. It just might be just what she said.
What she said on the day.
Yeah.
Like, did she have lines? Actually, no. She was just supposed to come in and drop some stuff.
So
she
there's
kept showing up to set.
It's a real Bowfinger situation with this poor woman.
So there's a little dollop of real world sadness for this movie that we're talking about here.
Lovely. Oh wow, I kind of wish I knew that watching this movie, because it
makes the performance make more sense.
Holy fuck.
Certainly.
Oh.
But these are our characters and ostensibly our murder suspects.
Yes. And we should explain that there is like a newspaper headline that there is a bizarre killer at large, and there's like a murder spree going on. And when I saw the headline,
it's called The Bizarre Killer.
That's the thing. When I saw the headline, it's like Bizarre Killer. I was like, oh, I wonder what this is all about. No, the name of the murderer is The Bizarre Killer. And the way that they do their crimes is like they're very elaborate fucking death traps.
The first one we hear about, we never see this one, but the first one we hear about is a victim was found in a sauna, wrapped in tinfoil with a baked potato stabbed into his heart. Now, that is not a set piece that we see in the movie. However, it did weirdly make the poster of this movie.
What?
That is the poster of the movie.
That is the poster of this movie. It's Charlie Chan with his hand on his face, and we see 2 legs poking out of a
I'm going to have to use that poster now in the thumbnail.
You're going to have to, because I think it's the only poster for this movie.
Okay.
And the tagline is something that Charlie Chan does not say in the movie, but you could assume maybe he might have said. The tagline for this movie is, "Murderer who turned victim into human baked potato have real appetite for crime." And that was how they sold this. For a thing that doesn't... I'll tell you what, if I plunk down like my $5 in 1981 and I don't see a human baked potato, I'm going to be complaining to the box office, thank you very much.
So Lee Chan goes to his detective office in Chinatown. He
nearly destroys Chinatown in the process. One assumes that this is just every day with this character. He's just an absolute chaos. He's just absolute chaos.
It's just gag after gag after gag.
Like a domino effect of
It's a relentless stream of genuinely funny moments moments, and like classic slapstick rolled in here. And again, it's because no one is speaking.
Yeah.
It's all this stuff is happening.
And he's oblivious to all of this.
Yeah.
And he's like, good morning, Mr. Young. Good morning, everyone. And then like he's knocking over fruit carts and awnings, and like people are floating on broken fire hydrant geysers. It's great.
Yeah, a motorcycle cop is shot into the air through the sheer force of the fire hydrant water, and he's just all like, "Hey, get me down from here! Whoa!"
And then him getting to his office, opening the door, his keys are attached to his belt. He opens the door.
This is not a bad gag.
Yeah.
This is actually a good gag.
And the phone's ringing. He's got to rush to catch it so he can get a client. And then because the keys are still attached to him, he ends up pulling the door off of the hinge. So he has to take his pants off to get enough distance to get to the phone. By the time he gets to the phone, the person is hung up because it's taking too long. Genuinely funny gag, followed immediately by bricks coming through his window.
Right out of Get Smart.
This is one of my favorite gags, where like the brick comes through the window.
It's unrelated to everything else.
There's a note tied to it. Well, it does get a callback later on.
Oh, it does, yeah. It gets a payoff.
Yeah, it does get a payoff. But yeah, brick comes through the window with a note attached to it, and it just says, "Broken window, call Al's Glass at..." Continued on next brick. And then the next, continued on next brick got a genuine laugh out of me. Even before the brick came through the window, continued on next brick is funny. Because it means that if there's someone waiting with the next brick, waiting him for him to just read enough of the note.
The callback is genuinely hilarious too. And they're back at their office. A brick goes in through the window. He goes, "Oh, that's for me."
Yeah.
Like that's how he gets his mail.
That's for me. And I believe the brick just says like, "Actually, we've changed numbers." So yeah.
Another example.
That's one of the win column, Charlie Chan.
Another example of a great sight gag that happens when there's a murder that takes place at an acupuncturist office, and the opening to the acupuncture office is a guy throwing darts at an acupuncture map.
Yeah.
Genuinely funny joke.
It's funny because they're like calling it too. Like they're calling it's all like left vertebrae, and like they're doing it. Yeah. So yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah.
This is another interesting part of this movie for me because in this hospital, every single person on screen is Asian.
Yes.
And they're portrayed as, which is not happened. This doesn't happen a lot in movies from the time, or even well past this time. They're treated like they're normal people. They're people at the doctor's office. They're doctors. They're people who are able to partake in the humor, and they're just doing their jobs. And the movie is full of so many background characters that are just like Asian people in San Francisco were just normal Americans
living their lives. Yes.
Yeah.
I think and every minor Asian character we see in this is clearly like an Asian American who is just speaking with like a regular North American accent. I think the only character that has a quote unquote Asian accent in this movie is Charlie Chan himself. Everyone else is talking in perfectly unbroken English.
Yeah.
It was like you were saying before about how the creator of Charlie Chan created him as sort of like a more positive counterpoint to like the depictions of the era. Is that the filmmakers trying to, correct the legacy of
I would say that is them missing the forest through the trees to a significant amount.
It says like they accidentally did the right thing. Like the intention is like, well, this takes place in China. We need Chinese actors, so they just hired a bunch of Chinese actors, just like
who lived in San Francisco,
and nobody had enough of a motive or an agenda with this movie to actually try to convince them to act in a certain way. There's like, you guys are just living your normal lives. So they just did that, and it seems like they're dressed like anyone else would in San Francisco. They're not really doing anything out of the ordinary.
But there's like they find like the murder in the acupuncture clinic,
strung up and everything.
Strung up, and he has like a knife, a dagger through his like stomach or whatever, and the police chief is there. We're gonna talk about the police chief.
My favorite character.
My other favorite character. I really like this guy a lot.
He has so many medical ailments. Chief, your blood pressure. Chief, your eardrums. Chief, your sinuses.
Yeah.
I will say,
funny.
The acupuncture victim who was stabbed through chest, you could tell that actor is struggling to not move in that very uncomfortable
What an awkward position to have to stay in all day long. I hope he was.
So one take, right, guys?
Yeah, guys. Yeah. No, but like the police chief is talking to just like another detective on the scene. One assumes like a detective covering the Chinatown beat, and I'm just talking. This guy has like maybe like 1 minute of screen time, and I'm just looking at him. It's all like, why wasn't this guy cast as Lee Chan? He's like absolutely the right age for it, and it just I don't know. But, Police Chief Baxter, I really like this guy a lot. He's so sarcastic. He's so angry.
Yeah.
With this random outburst of just yelling for no reason at the slightest
His
provocation.
face goes beet red and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
And he has, like, his subordinate or whatever who is, like, the perfect foil for him. And, he always has, like... He's got his pills with him. Yeah, he's like a walking
thermometers with him.
Yeah, he's like a walking pharma. It's so funny when they're in the middle of the car chase and he just puts a glass thermometer in his mouth. But it's so great. Just all like, should we follow them, Chief? Actually, I thought it would be a nice day to go.
Of course, we're gonna follow him. Real Ralph Cramden moment there. The Chief's at his wit's end, and that's why we're called in the legendary Charlie Chan out of retirement. Flies in on a helicopter, meets his grandson. Grandson fumbles his way to see his grandfather and causes a scene.
Do you guys have
people fall off the pier?
Do you guys have any reference for Peter Ustinov at all?
No.
Not familiar to either of you?
I've seen him in older movies before.
He's in older movies, but like, he was a 2-time Oscar winner. His big thing was that he was really known as a great impressionist. Like, he would get invited on the talk shows, he would get invited on Johnny Carson, and he would tell stories about Orson Welles and Charles Lawton or whatever.
And dip into the voice.
And then he would, like Jim Carrey, like Kevin Pollak, like those type of people, like, people would be in awe because not only would he, like, slip into a thing, like, his face would change, like his
rubber face.
Gotcha. Like Jim Carrey, like he would morph into the person that he was talking to. So he was a singular talent. Like he was just like this classic British thespian who was so good at like the classic Shakespeare and taking the piss out of his fellow actors. And part of the reason why he is here is because right before this movie, he had just done a fairly successful 2-stint film portrayal of Hercule Poirot. He did Death on the Nile, and he did another one. Not Murder on the Orient Express, but one of the lesser...
something of Venice.
Evil Under the Sun is, I believe, that one.
Okay.
So he's cast here largely because he had just done like a decent run at playing Poirot. And I just like the thought process that a Hollywood producer must have had. Like that's the thing, like the equivalent nowadays of someone saying is all like, what if we rebooted Pink Panther and got Daniel Craig to do it? Well, he did such a good job playing that other detective. Like obviously it's like it's two different things, guys.
They do that all the time with action heroes. Like, okay, this guy played a soldier. What are we doing? We're casting another movie. He needs to play a soldier or an ex-Marine. It's just easier for the casting agents to do that, man.
I suppose. I mean, like, there are parallels with, like, Chris Evans played the fucking Human Torch. Why not have him play fucking Captain America?
And then have him play Human Torch again.
And then have him play, exactly.
You figure it out, nerds.
I think one of the interesting things about like Charlie Chan in this movie is that he's not very funny. He doesn't have any good jokes. He's too old and serious to be involved in any of the gags or the
like the only gag. The only gag is when he has to go up a flight of stairs and then stop midway through to tell everyone how fat he is.
Yeah. And so he feels like he's from not only a different time, but a completely different movie than everyone else around him.
Yeah.
Everyone else around him is this massive, larger-than-life cartoon character with chaos in the way. Yeah. And he is playing this so straight and having no actual jokes or any bits that why is he even in the movie? Like, the movie is happening without him.
This is the purpose of the younger grandson. It's like, this will be our comedic character. This will be the character that the young people will relate to or whatever, and Charlie Chan will just be in
and that's the
background.
Thing. Well, like, all the other characters surround Charlie Chan and defer to him all the time and prop him up. And yes, like you were saying, like, they're so large with their overacting and everything. And yeah, he's very, very subdued, but he's the center point of every fucking scene that he's in. When you see him in the chase sequence when they're all in like the handsome cabs and everything, he's just lounging in the back watching his grandson do all the fucking work.
They just got a dummy his size, stuck it in there, and just rode around the dummy because he doesn't move. His arms on the back seat completely relaxed as they're tearing through this town and all this other action stuff is going on.
I'm worried about Grandpa in these action sequences. He's not doing anything.
But it's very strange because he feels like, I don't know if that actor is trying to do a straight, serious take on a real detective character and it's just not working because he's in Yellowface. But that's not the movie he's in. The movie is a cartoon that he is not a part of.
Yes, it almost seems like he is going against the idea of trying to do something silly. Even though he was a very funny actor that did a lot of comedies, so I don't really know what his take on Charlie Chan is.
And I also, since we're talking about Michelle Pfeiffer, I think she shows off some really early on just how good of a comedic
she's really
actress
game
she
in
is.
this. Like she's not.
She's
like,
having so much
here.
fun. She's just enjoying herself in her lines. One of my favorite moments of hers is when they're going in there and the doorman is opening the door for her, and she just kind of looks back at him, comes back and pats him on the head.
Nakamura,
because she just wanted to touch a bald man, and she's the delight in her face when
she
she's
gives
like
a little giggle, and he's all like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Like, there's no way that was scripted.
No, not scripted at all. That was just
her.
something that she decided to do.
That's
in that
just something
moment.
pretty women can get away with doing. But yeah, like she's all wide-eyed and enthusiastic in this movie. She's an absolute sweetheart. Yeah,
she's super kind, and her fiance has no redeeming quality whatsoever.
What the fuck does she see in this guy?
He is easily the stupidest character in it. Has completely lacked any self-awareness.
He's a bumbling fool.
He just wants to be. All he wants to do is be a detective like his grandfather, but he's not even terribly good at that. We find out that the only client he has is a little girl who lost his cat, and then he closes the door on that, and Charlie and Michelle
beats him up.
She beats the shit out of him.
Which again, genuinely funny joke.
It's funny when kids beat up grown adults, but yeah, it's funny.
And it was another little Asian girl not doing kung fu. Nope. It's just like, hey, where's my cat?
Yeah,
I don't have a favorite cat. Go away.
And then she like, I don't know, jerseys him and like
it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't
gets
like
him in a headlock.
It wasn't like she was trained in the mystic arts. It was more like she was all like, "Let me get my brass knuckles on."
Whacks him over the back with a chair.
Yeah, but like there's some great gags, but yeah, like he's absolutely not worth her. There's this thing where she has like she's his wake up call where he has like this complicated boom box where she wakes him up not once but 3 times. She has 3 different recorded messages just to say like,
sweetheart, if you're not up by now,
it's time to get up. And this is the list of things that you have to do today. And don't forget, we're getting married in 3 days, so you have to do this. You have to do this.
She would have to record a new recording every fucking day.
Good morning, sweetheart. This is Cordelia, your fiancée and favorite wake-up call girl. Don't forget, it's just 3 whole days before our wedding. You better get up and go to work so you can become as great a detective as your Grandpa Chan.
You're getting married in 3 days? What did you propose with? You don't have the wedding ring yet? What are you talking about?
This is going to be a fast ceremony. He must have knocked her up or something.
Yeah, well, who knows? Because her parents aren't there. His parents aren't there. Like, it's very, I don't know. Like, one imagines that, like, they're getting married because no one really cares about them.
No one's around to say no.
Except,
all right, both our folks are out of town.
Except for his maternal grandmother, who kind of acts like she wants to sleep with him. She's really handsy with her grandson. I don't know if maybe not sleep with him, but she's definitely obsessed with him to the point where she wants him to take over the pineapple fortune because they're pineapple people. Don't be a detective, be a pineapple man.
She's just one of those prototypical boy moms. Like she's the precursor to all these weird Instagram influencers who are oddly in love with their own sons and will let them get away with anything. When they ultimately end up back at the estate and there is an attempt on the life of the grandmother, this results in another genuinely funny slapstick chase scene through the house to trying to find out where it is that Michelle Pfeiffer fully commits to. There's things like going the wrong direction down a hallway, like trying to steer him, falling over, and she's like genuinely funny in it.
Yeah,
and she's leading the chase.
This is a really silly, disposable movie that I'm sure Michelle Pfeiffer wishes everyone would forget. But like, let's give her the credit she deserves. She carries herself wonderfully throughout all of this. She's a funny, charming presence throughout.
Yeah.
And the problems with the movie, they're not her.
Well, no, because she's such a minor character. I wouldn't put it on her.
Despite the fact that she's in most of the movie, she doesn't actually.
She comes out of this movie like pretty unscathed. Yeah. So good on you, Michelle.
Yeah, she has one of my favorite exchanges in the movie where we're jumping all over the place in terms of plot here, but someone calls Lee Chan and says, "We've kidnapped your grandfather, come here, don't tell anyone." And he immediately goes and he tells his fiancée, he goes, "Uncle Charlie's been kidnapped, I have to go."
His grandpa has been kidnapped. I gotta help him.
I'm going with you.
No, you have to stay here. You're getting married today.
But you are too.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Okay.
So come on.
Well, hideous wedding dress.
Well, it's the big '80s poofy white wedding dress, but
even for the time,
it leads to more, it all leads to more shenanigans, Brett. Because then she gets into the car and the wedding dress blows back into her face.
And then they're climbing up the ladder on the outside of the warehouse. She goes first, and he's like looking up her dress. He's, oh, not till we're married, darling.
Yeah,
that's
these sort of things.
Yeah.
So we're finding lots of excuses not to talk about Charlie Chan. The character,
the least interesting part of the
really,
movie.
truly, there's not much to say about this guy.
It's not our fault. Like I'm not. It's his role in the movie. Again, feels like this movie could have happened without him in it.
Yeah, he has a lot of groans and a lot of sneering that he does when he was like kind of just reacting to other people. It's like a real.
It's not. It's pointedly like an Asian sneer. Is like the problem. It's like
what I just did.
Whenever he makes that noise, it's the noise that he makes. That's so like this is like maybe the most offensive thing that he's doing in terms of the caricature, where he's just going like, I don't want to do. I honestly don't want to repeat it, but it's like. It's like the like he's like thinking at like the same time, but he's like not happy with like what the situation is. Yeah,
that's how he passed the audition.
Oh, he did an audition for this. He's long past getting auditions for this. They're just giving
first
him
offer
at these points.
Offer only.
Where? Oh yes, the other titular character of this. Well, I was saying.
Oh, the Dragon Queen.
Listen, I was saying Michelle Pfeiffer does not look embarrassed to be in this movie. You cannot say the same thing for Rat Pack favorite Angie Dickinson, lightly yellow-faced in this movie. Look, I will give her the faintest amount of credit. She's not even trying to do some sort of like stereotype here. Like she's performing this role like Angie Dickinson, but she is very much made up to look like the Dragon Queen, unfortunately. But yeah, so it's just an endless succession of scenes where the gang will go into like a set piece, someone will be murdered, or a group of people will be murdered.
And then we'll cut to the Dragon Lady on the scene, making her exit.
Not even hiding.
Yeah.
Just completely out in like full view, dressed like the Dragon Queen. She's not being conspicuous. When she is being conspicuous, she's in a full stretch limo.
Yeah.
So she's just like not hiding at all.
As she's following somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, the costume department must have had a field day with dressing her. The scene, like again with the handsome cab ride chase sequence, she's in that really billowy robe with a wide brim hat. That's what a drip.
Yeah.
It looks great.
She looks amazing.
It looks great in a
movie.
chase sequence, to be honest.
Yeah, but she is ostensibly our villain. Like Charlie Chan clocks like immediately. It's like, it's my old enemy, the Dragon Queen.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
That lady who cursed me back in the black and white days or whatever. She's clearly
Is the implication that because his grandson is such a failure that it's because of the curse? Like, does the movie even acknowledge how bad the grandson really is at anything?
I'm gonna say yes, because like he's so accident prone to the point that it's like way over the top. Like no one is this clumsy.
But he's still heir to a massive pineapple fortune.
That's through luck of lineage, but he himself is a fuck up.
And he is marrying Michelle Pfeiffer.
That's true.
Who is madly in love with him.
Yeah.
I'm calling bullshit on this whole curse thing. I don't think there's a curse.
I'm
just gonna say, I don't think she has mystical powers at all. I don't think she has the ability to curse people.
I don't even think you're really Chinese, lady.
All right, you got me. I'm from Las Vegas.
It's a real Donna Chang thing from Seinfeld situation.
She just really likes to call herself the Dragon Lady.
That's right. Go watch Seinfeld, folks. It's more laughs.
Better show.
Laughs.
We do think it's like... Because like the stuff they do with Richard Hatch in this, it's obviously not to like the degree that they've made up Peter Ustinov, but like they've definitely put something on him, right? And they've definitely put something on Angie Dickinson as well too. It's I won't say it's subtle, but like they definitely tried to like make her up to look like,
off.
They don't look real. There's a little Cloud Atlas going on.
You know what Charlie Chan is trying to look like, and it looks terrible.
Yes.
But the other one's like, I think they're trying to do something, but I can't.
But neither of them
are
are doing any sort of an accent. Thankfully, neither of them are doing any sort of an accent. So yeah, the subtle changes to their face are are kind of
noticeable in the wrong ways.
Yeah, definitely. So what happens? They go to a nightclub,
a really bumping fucking nightclub, because when they see the grandmother who had been strangled in the mansion, they find a matchbook for like the Shanghai Club or whatever the fuck. And
something offensive.
And the young couple, they hit the dance floor. Charlie Chan's just looking around like he's too old for this sort of
There's
shit.
a dude who's
he is.
Who's fucking rocking out hard on
the electric sax.
The electric sax,
and
which will prove to be his downfall.
And again, in this scene in the movie is packed full of Asian extras who are just dressed like people going to a dance club.
Well, but it's a nightclub in the middle of Chinatown. And one would assume it would be full of people who look like that.
It's not an Asian theme on the inside. Like the band is wearing these like full disco bright blue onesies,
fucking
huge pompadour hair.
This is what Asian Americans looked like in 1981. The film does capture that.
Playing like saxophone. Like my great uncle was a trombone player in a Canadian big band.
Cool.
As a Japanese American, and that's just what people did. It's not like somebody playing some kind of ancient Chinese.
You're telling me
xylophone.
these people are people?
They're just regular people.
My God.
And they're just regular tromboners.
I'm learning so much about this.
And the movie just treats them like that. And a lot of other movies at the time wouldn't have given them the courtesy.
No.
It would have played into stereotypes and like thematic dressing and music just to set the tone for it. And
on the other hand, Charlie Chan is in this fucking
and then
movie.
Charlie Chan is right there.
Yeah.
In his white suit that apparently becomes all the rage. Like
everyone
loves
love it.
Oh, this is the other joke. This is the other joke, and this is a great example of like a joke that's like well constructed, but then the movie just like absolutely destroys.
Yeah,
because it's like
as they roll into the club, they pass by like a row of pimps.
Yeah, pimp row.
Yeah,
of course.
And they're all just.
Hey man, nice threads. Looking good. White on white. I like it.
Nice outfit.
Exactly.
That's a line from Superman, folks.
And then a couple of scenes later, we go back to the same location, and all of the pimps are dressed like Charlie Chan in the white suit. Funny.
Yeah.
That's all you needed to do.
Yep.
But of course, this movie has to explain everything, so it cuts to Michelle Pfeiffer going like, "Look, Uncle Charlie, they're all dressed like you." And then he's all like, I never thought I'd be a trendsetter.
Yeah,
or except he doesn't say it like that. I'm not going to say it the way he said it.
In perfect broken English, he says
and it's just all like, we get it. It was a funny
good joke that you had to ruin.
It was a funny visual gag.
You ruined it with Michelle Pfeiffer's just breaking it down, and then you drove it.
You drowned it in a puddle. Yeah.
So we are at this club.
Yeah.
And the saxophone player who gets down from the stage and is just jamming in the middle of the dance floor. Everyone around is having a good time.
Which is fucking cool. I would love to be dancing at a club, and then the guy providing the music is like right next to me. That would be really cool. Except this movie maybe encapsulates why it's not a great idea, because he gets murdered.
But how does he get murdered, Kaz? A woman, it's clearly a woman's hand, who's with a black glove on, dumps a glass of water into the horn, and it causes it to short circuit and electrocutes him, causing his giant pompadour hair to expand out with little shocks traveling through it.
Because that's how that happens.
And then he falls to the ground and starts convulsing in the shock, and everyone goes, "Hey, it's the new dance move!" And then everyone falls to the ground and just starts doing it.
I'm fairly confident one of the extras says, "Hey everyone, let's do the dead." And then everyone gets down on the ground and starts convulsing. I'm almost certain I heard someone say that.
Who is this guy that's been murdered? We don't know. He's just saxophonist for the band.
This is the thing, is that like
it's a murder spree. Yeah. It's just like this killer going around doing...
This is the thing about like the murders, is they're all entirely random. They don't actually have any connection to the family, to like the dead patriarch or anything like that. They're just complete randos.
And another great gag that we missed earlier is that when they're in Lee Chan's in his office, the office's neighbor comes in, the older man comes in. He's been stabbed in the back with a note saying to go somewhere.
So how
does he get the note? He pulls the knife out, kicks the note, and then puts the knife back in.
A real naked
joke.
Real naked gun style
Good joke.
Like even Charlie Chan doesn't care about this body. He's just all like, "Oh, we should go. We should go check this out. We should maybe call the police first, but maybe not." Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the note that says like the next murder victim will be in the park at like 3:30 p.m. Be there, and that's where they're in the park, and the Dragon Queen makes her move with a poison-tipped blow dart, and that's what
misses completely.
Completely misses, and that's what kicks off our elaborate chase sequence that we've been talking about.
My old enemy, the Dragon Queen.
Yeah. Not my friend, the Dragon Queen.
Who they didn't see at the club, despite the fact she was sitting right next to
She's
them
hard
the
to
whole
miss,
time.
you know?
And then again, this chase sequence starts off and genuinely, it's oddly, it's like goes on a bit too long. Like it's
keeps,
a long race.
It keeps ramping up.
Back in the day, if you had a comedy and it had like a chase sequence and everything like that, yeah, that chase sequence was like the centerpiece of your movie. That's where all of the money went into this movie. So of course it's going to be long as hell because they need to get their money's worth out of all these horses that we rented, all of these cars that we're going to destroy. But yeah,
it kicks off with Dragon Queen stealing a hansom cab and like rushing off the horses. Charlie Chan's grandson and Michelle Pfeiffer steal another hansom cab from a bunch of
There's
cab
a wedding.
drivers.
It's a wedding.
Oh, a wedding. Yeah, so they go off.
I
on
had
another
no
one.
idea that it was called a handsome cab. That's a
Yeah.
thing that I've learned today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep calling it cabs because the cabbies now like seeing people steal their cabs. They give chase like, hey, come back here with our cabs and everything. So they join in. They go past like a riding school, and all the people in the class are like, oh, look at these showboats. We'll get them, girls.
Come
and
on,
then they're all-
girls, yeah.
And then the cops come by, and the cop car is
this
like,
is just- I mean, we're just doing pure Mad World at this point in time. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason for why anyone is following them. Yeah.
They end up getting out into the street, which causes a crash between cars driving by, including the truck from the glass replacement
the
company
payoff!
that were throwing bricks through Lee Chan's window, who got hit in the back by a truck carrying bricks.
So good. Yeah, and then like people are chewing out Al, the guy. Like they finally caught their man.
You'd almost be forgiven for thinking that this movie was competent and had like some decent joke construction. It does every once in a while. Now that we're
surprises
talking
you.
about this, every once in a while, this movie has like a couple of like really decent gags that do inevitably pay off.
And then the camera switches over to show
Charlie Chan, and
you're like, oh yeah, that's
and then look, if we keep giving this movie like tons of like faint praise awards, here's another one. At the very least, every time Charlie Chan enters a room, he's not followed by a gong sound effect. Like that's one thing that they did.
Now that's progress.
That's progress. We can all hold hands together.
That's what happens when Hollywood goes woke.
That's what they took from us.
Yeah.
And the ending of the chase, she got away. She's riding off in a hansom cab, being pulled by two horses along the beach.
She's making great time on the beach, even though by all accounts, there's no way it would go that fast.
Like,
No way that it would survive like a tumble onto the beach like that.
Yeah, but it keeps going. And there's the stunt work when the cab that there's also one where he's striding two horses at the same time on both of them, riding them both while Michelle Pfeiffer's controlling the other one.
The dragon lady's whipping his ass right down the middle of the cheeks.
Is that the part where like the traffic cop sees them coming and he holds out his hand to stop them and it doesn't go in time, so we just get a shot of him slapping Lee Chan in the dick as he low bridges
exactly
him.
what happened.
Man, this movie's got some real peaks and valleys, I tell you.
It's a strange movie.
Yeah.
So we've had a ton of victims at this point. We didn't even mention the elevator that gets flooded with like the fire hose.
Yeah.
Where they're all in like a fancy hotel. Charlie Chan has just landed.
Yeah.
He goes to meet the grandmother, who inexplicably is also there. The butler and the maid go everywhere with them, and we've also forgot to mention.
I don't think you should leave that maid alone.
That's true. Yes, she shouldn't be alone near fire.
Yeah.
Yes. There's also a chauffeur character that we've omitted to mention who is around, who I think is meant to be an homage to the character I mentioned before the break, where Charlie Chan had like a black chauffeur sidekick.
Right.
With scars on his
Well, this is like at first I thought this character has like scars on his face, and then I noticed no, they're on both sides of his face,
symmetrical.
So it's like some sort of like tribal thing.
Yes.
Like he's from some African culture or whatever that scars the skin for whatever reason. But yeah, he's like
It wasn't enough to have a man in yellow face. They also need to have the one black character in the show be from an African tribe that scars themselves.
Don't worry, because it will all pay off in a way. It not like in like a way that helps the movie, but it will pay off. We will explain that.
They
at the
do
very
acknowledge
least.
it.
They do acknowledge
It's not
that
just
those
a
are there.
It's not a throwaway thing.
But
they
like
just did.
but everyone goes everywhere with this woman. She's never alone. She's always there with her handy-capable butler. And they meet in the lobby of this fancy hotel. And as they're going up to, I guess, Charlie Chan's room,
The doors open and the water floods
It's the scene
out.
from The Shining, except it's just water.
Yeah.
And then, like, 5 bodies just, like, pour out. So just, like, 5 random people are just dead.
Were they trapped in the elevator as they got flooded?
I guess it must have been. Yeah, is the idea. But again, like, the bizarre killer strikes again.
Yeah.
And Charlie Chan is on the scene here. So, yeah, like, the body count is up to, like, 10 or 11 at this point.
At this point, yeah,
And
yeah.
they just keep... It's hard because, like, the movie throws away victims so quickly. Like, I had forgotten about the guy who got stabbed in the back and goes to the detective office, and I'm just all like, oh yeah, I guess that is another murder victim, isn't it?
But no time for that. It's time for a wedding.
The
We
wedding
gotta
must
go.
go.
It's time for a
already.
wedding. The wedding is today because, of course, we set it up. The wedding was in 3 days.
Yeah.
Now, an important detail is that Charlie Chan is with his grandson and Michelle Pfeiffer the entire time during this handsome cab ride.
Yes.
He doesn't disappear. They don't lose track of him. He falls out on the beach and then gets up. It's like,
Well, a stunt person does.
Well, yeah. It's like, oh well, we'll have to, we'll meet her. She will strike again, likely at the wedding. So let's get to the wedding right now. And then the first thing that happens in the next scene is that Lee Chan gets a call from the Dragon Queen that says, "We've kidnapped your grandfather." And then he just doesn't look for him, doesn't ask, "Hey, is grandpa here?"
He takes the mysterious caller at their word.
Yeah. And when would you have done this?
Yeah.
Also, he's like the world's greatest detective. Would he have fallen into like an obvious trap that easily? But he's
His grandson did.
He's a dumbass, and Michelle Pfeiffer wants to support him, so they leave their wedding in full bride and groom attire, and they go to a cinema in Chinatown, which. Oh my god!
Alright, what are the implications of this?
Inexplicably is playing a Charlie Chan movie marathon. Now, I am willing to suspend my belief that Charlie Chan, the character,
Is a celebrity detective.
is such a popular detective within the real world of this that his stories, his cases, have been spun off into movies.
Yes.
I'm willing to buy that.
Sure.
But then we see actual footage of the movie, and it's Peter Ustinov in the movie.
So
Now, maybe if there was like a meta joke into that where it's all like, they passed a poster and it says like Charlie Chan and the whatever starring Peter Ustinov.
Yeah.
And it's all like, this is the actor who's playing the person, but is
He's
also
such a- he's
he
such
also
a-
exists in this world.
he's a spitting image lookalike of Charlie
Yeah, of course.
Chan.
Who else would you get to cast this
Yeah,
person?
exactly. Yeah.
But
or
no,
the
this
other-
made my head hurt.
The other implication is that, like, he must have retired from being a detective so he could be an actor or something. That's the only other implication to that this.
And he just reenacted like his actual old cases or whatever. Yeah.
punching up the dialogue with things that he wished he said in the moment.
You know what would have been a really funny meta joke? If the scenes that you see on the screen in this movie theater were just the scenes from then in this movie.
If it was just like an earlier scene, like
Yeah.
they were just
Oh,
like
yeah.
playing off of.
Just like in the black and white
Yeah.
with the Dutch angles and everything
Like
like,
in the
that. And it's
Muppet, like in the Muppet movie, where it's just like, oh, just read the screenplay.
like in Spaceballs, where are we in the movie right now?
that's a joke. It's like you would have to pay attention to notice it, and if you notice it, it would be a good joke.
That would be pretty good, yeah. So this is obviously a trap set up by the Dragon Queen.
Oh, fuck.
She
I get how she gets the drop on fucking Lee Chan because he goes.
Anyone can get the drop on Lee Chan.
I know, right? It's pretty.
A 9-year-old girl got the drop on Lee Chan.
Yeah, she chloroforms him, but like Michelle Pfeiffer in full view of this follows him into the room, and from the way that the camera is just depicted, you could clearly see
The
Angie
outline-
the outline of Angie Dickinson in the doorway, and I could just imagine that like in the moment the two actresses are like meeting each other's eye line, and they're just like, what are we fucking
It's a
doing?
real case-
Are they going to
Yeah.
cut around this somehow? Like,
No, it's a real case where the director was just like, okay, Michelle, you need to go into this room and
and
you need
you
to...
don't see the
you
woman
don't-
that is
yeah.
clearly on the other
Yeah.
side of this
and
door.
then she's so like, she's right there, though. And
Yeah.
so like, Michelle, we got...
Why don't you just
We only
ask her?
got... So we're burning daylight. We
Can you
gotta
fix
go,
it in
yeah.
post?
Angie, can you just like move a little to the side and like no?
And she's just smoking. So like, this is where I'm standing.
My contract says you get to tell me one direction a day, and that you already gave me the one.
I'm not gonna let some upstart bimbo tell me what to do. I've been working steady for 40 goddamn years.
So these two get tied up and they're put into...
An elaborate death trap.
Even Jigsaw would rub his hands together and go, "This is pretty good." So there's a vicious dog who's tied up and is barking at them and is
just tied up by a rope.
Yeah, but the rope is tied to a guillotine.
Yeah,
and
directly beneath the blade, and on the other side of the guillotine is a long candle that is melting down to the rope. And when it melts down enough, it will burn the rope, which will lower the blade of the fucking guillotine and release the dog so it can maul.
And now you were able to figure that out just by looking at it. But of course, the movie has to have them rip their gags off of their mouth and then explain how the fucking trap works. They're like, give your audience some credit. Like, we're able to look at this and piece together how this is going to work. You don't have to spell it out for us. What I will say is this leads to another moment that I actually thought was pretty cute. The way that they get out of this is they start
gotta find a way to snuff out that candle.
Is they start saying happy birthday to the dog. The dog starts barking. He kind of looks at them with his head askew. They finish happy birthday, and then the dog goes over to the candle and blows the candle out. That's kind of cute. I kind of liked that.
At that point,
a better movie I would have appreciated that.
I put my hands up in the air. I put my notebook down. I was like, all right.
Sure, why not?
That is an earned victory.
Yeah.
Oh, but then that's...
You don't have a lot of agency in this movie, Lee Chan, but god damn it, you figured it out.
Figured it out. You'll make one hell of a detective someday. And that's when Charlie Chan and the cops show up on the scene because they were alerted that the newlyweds have gone missing.
But it's another case where everyone decides to get in on the act. Charlie Chan and the police leave
the butler,
wedding.
the maid, the chauffeur, the grandmother.
The chauffeur and the grandma and the maid all pile into the car. Roddy McDowell misses getting into the car, so he just zooms in on his fucking electric wheelchair.
You see the handlebars on the side of it?
And it's like... and he's just rattling along.
They ramp up the footage and everything.
Yep.
I love the one part where he's like crossing the intersection and there's a guy with crutches
What?
who notices him and then falls down.
Okay, that wasn't what... I wanted to ask about this because I didn't get this gag. This didn't make any sense. It makes more sense if he fell down. What I saw was there's a man with crutches. Roddy passes him really fast. It looks like he throws his crutches down and says "Hey, yeah," and then he starts walking and then he falls over. And I'm all like, what sense did that make? You see a guy in a wheelchair and it's all like, I can walk now.
I thought it was a case where Roddy McDowell just clipped him or grabbed one of the crutches because he's such an asshole character.
He might have just knocked him down. I might have just misseen that moment, but yeah.
Yeah. Charlie Chan manages to untie the Captain Newlyweds by giving them a swift judo chop.
That's right.
Just cuts the rope with one swift chop.
Yeah, exactly. It's all like, quick, untie these ropes. No time for that. And it's just like, okay, all right, that's...
Yeah.
We're still in... I keep forgetting we're still in this movie.
Yeah, you forgot Charlie Chan is in this movie.
Every time this movie gains a few points, it comes crashing right back.
I mean, look, that is maybe the best summation of this movie, is that there's lots of goofy bullshit that every once in a while you're surprised by kind of how funny it is.
And how well it's pulled off.
And how well constructed it is. And then all of that is just immediately ruined when you remember Charlie Chan is the main character.
It's a real fucking emotional roller coaster of a movie. Dizzying highs and the darkest of lows.
Yeah. But yeah, there's another booby trap that Charlie Chan easily gets by or whatever. And then the Dragon Queen just comes out with a gun. It's all like, you foiled me once again, Charlie Chan. And she's subdued much in the same way as she was in the past, just by number one grandson just leaping on top of her. And she's all like, you've been caught. You caught me. I'm done.
Yeah.
Can I get out of this movie now, please?
But it turns out...
Not the killer.
Not the killer.
In this movie's last-minute surprise plot twist, yes, it turns out it was not the Dragon Queen who was beside all the murders. But
who could it be?
The Dragon Queen, indeed, was back, and she was trying to get her revenge on Charlie Chan for taking her to...
But she is not the bizarre killer.
She is not the bizarre killer. So and Charlie Chan says, indeed, the murderer is...
in the room!
Someone in this room, which explains why every character had to come along.
Yeah.
Even Roddy McDowell, who, everyone climbs all these stairs, and we see, I can't get up these stairs. So he goes, he buys a ticket for the movie, and then he inexplicably is just in the loft above the apartment. I don't know how he got there, but he's here now.
Yeah.
Goes down a slide on his wheelchair.
Yeah.
The footage is sped up and just makes it through
It
the
all
door.
has to be sped up. Yeah, exactly.
Suspects.
We're in the parlor scene again.
Yeah. He says like, "Oh, Gillespie, the wheelchair-bound butler. Why, you're not paralyzed at all." And he lights the blanket on fire and he leaps to his feet.
He sets Roddy McDowell on fire and he leaps to his feet.
And then he says, probably my favorite line in the movie.
Do us the honors, yeah.
So they're just like, "Oh my, Gillespie, you can walk." He's like, "Of course I can walk. I just don't want to."
And that's all the explanation. And then he goes back to sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
He's in the movie for like another 15 minutes, and from that point on, he just continues.
He's been exposed as a fraud.
Continues to sit in there. It's the greatest justification ever. Yeah. His delivery of it is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's just like I just don't want to walk.
And like,
I just don't feel like it.
I'm with you there, buddy.
And how did Charlie Chan know he could walk? His shoes were scuffed.
Yeah.
So a man in a wheelchair would never scuff his shoes,
and
which is not a true thing.
The maid couldn't have done it because she's a paranoid schizophrenic and she can't kill anybody because she's afraid of everything.
Yeah.
And the chauffeur can't do it because he recognized the markings on his face make him a tribal prince. And
Who are
only
forbidden from murder.
Who are forbidden for murder. Only people with 2 lines on their face can murder people, but if 3, you don't murder anymore.
Yeah.
And then he's all like,
I
misjudged you, Charlie Chan. You're all right with me and the people of Zamunda.
I know my racist caricatures and shorthands. Yeah.
So then, by proxy of elimination, now there was the briefest of moments where I thought maybe sweet, innocent Michelle Pfeiffer was going to turn out to be the killer.
I would not have suspected that. I think it would have made like an interesting twist.
She was at every location.
Every location. Well, she was always like in the presence of Charlie Chan. It would have like there was one moment in the nightclub where we established that Grandma was getting strangled by her
noticed
scarf.
this too.
And in the dance sequence, she is doing like this weird blindfold dance move with Lee Chan, and she's tying like the scarf around him a little too tightly.
I thought that was a hint, but I think it was just like a little bit of goofy business that they came up with.
Yeah.
Because the bizarre murder turns out to be Grandma, Mrs. What's her name?
Lupowitz.
Mrs. Lupowitz. It was Lee Grant the entire time, and yes, it was because Charlie Chan exposed
the affair.
The thing that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and she was like the pariah around town, and like she had to change cities, and it still followed her, and it ruined her reputation.
Yeah, I love how it's like revealed to do this, and she's all like, "Well, you're not going to win this time, Charlie Chan. This is one murderer you're not going to catch." And I thought that she had like some great gambit or whatever, like she has like a cyanide capsule. She just runs.
Yeah.
She's like, "This is one murderer you're never going to catch."
Like a
Bye. This old lady runs away.
I assume her motivation, she wanted to try to create an unsolvable case to ruin Charlie Chan's reputation.
Yes, that was the thing. Was all like, I'll cause like a random series of murders that are so unsolvable, even Charlie Chan can figure it out. The thing that she didn't count on is that Charlie Chan is Charlie Chan.
Yeah.
So,
but like also, he just knows. He doesn't figure.
Yeah, he didn't
clues.
figure anything out. It's just she's bad at murder, so he was able to figure everything out because it wasn't very well thought out.
One of the reactions was, "Oh, like you bumped into that waiter to spill water on your dress to disguise the fact that that your dress was already wet when you hooked up the fire hose to the elevator that flooded it." I'm like, okay,
yeah. Sure.
What about the other ones? Like, well, did you have eyes on her at the nightclub?
Now, here's the thing. Okay, you brought this up earlier, and this actually got me thinking. So, the guy who shows up to Lee Chan's office with the note in the back that says, "Meet me at the park at exactly 3 o'clock." We know the Dragon Queen is waiting for them to show up at 3 o'clock so she can try and kill Charlie Chan. Did the Dragon Queen do that murder? Or was that Grandma, and that was just like a weird coincidence that the Dragon Queen just happened to show up at the same time?
It's never revealed.
And I would also argue, not important.
I can't imagine they're collaborating on this murder spree because Dragon Queen and the Lady Lupowitz should hate each other.
I have to imagine they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, thick plot hole. We got your movie.
You mean
I was going to give this movie 5 stars,
Exactly.
but now
this movie isn't airtight? Yeah, exactly. But they capture Grandma pretty easily.
Yeah, and then they go off and have the wedding. Goes off without a hitch. They allow Grandma to attend in handcuffs or whatever, which is nice.
Still no parents.
Still no parents. They don't bother showing up. It's just like, that's my last note. Where the fuck's the dad and mom in
Albania?
They're in Albania.
Everyone is in Albania. Yeah. All parents go to Albania. And as a wedding present, Charlie Chan gives Lee Chan a big box. And he's found the cat. He's found the cat for the little girl.
I did your job for you,
Yeah.
grandson. You suck.
And now they have to go off on their honeymoon, and they have this random cat with them.
You gonna give it back to the little girl?
Not yet.
I can't go to.
I'm afraid of that.
I
little
can't
girl.
show my face on that street anymore.
If I ever see your face again, Jen, you're a dead man.
And they drive away with a sign that says "Just Married," and the police follow with Grandma, and the sign says "Just Arrested." Again, this movie kind of has some gags that I like.
Yeah.
But it's not worth it overall. Is there anything we forgot to mention?
Let's
Here's another gag that I kind of liked. That we mentioned that the grandpa's ashes are in an urn, which has an amusing plaque that says "Bernie's urn." Rip. That's what it says. And there's a great gag where Gillespie keeps zooming past it and tapping his cigarette ash in it. And like he does it like a couple of times. I'm like, all right, we get it. You didn't like the guy. But then there's a scene where the grandma goes over and she goes, "Oh, Bernie, I miss you so much." And she picks up the urn. She goes, "Oh God, you've gotten heavier.
You gained weight.
You've gained weight." That's just like another well-written joke that kind of surprised me. Yeah.
Also, it's weird the urn is just open that the ash can go in. Most urns have
Well,
like a cap on them.
there are scenes where there is a
you
cap
don't want
on.
to spill it.
There are scenes where there is a cap on the urn, but inexplicably the cap is off the urn whenever it's convenient for the cigarette gag to be working. So, okay.
I found something I want to talk
Okay.
about. In the scene where grandson gets the message that grandpa's been kidnapped, we're showing him like getting ready in his bedroom. We get a shot over his bedside, and he has two photographs bedside with him. One is of Michelle Pfeiffer, and the other one is of his grandfather.
Of course, the two people he loves most in the world.
Do you really want a picture of your grandpa over your bed the night before your wedding there? Like, just like looking at you stern face and
That disapproving glare.
bit of a fucking turn off, if I do say so myself.
Well, maybe it's there for Michelle Pfeiffer, because the more she looks at it...
Maybe that's what she's...
Well, the
that's
more
what
she
she's
looks
into.
at it, the more she's going to realize this is what I've married. This is who this guy is ostensibly going to become eventually. So.
This is my app in towards getting with Charlie Chan.
Well,
So, this is the weird thing about this movie. It's not a good movie, but there's so many genuinely funny moments that if Charlie Chan just wasn't in the movie, it would be fun.
Better. It would be a
It would like this would be like a nostalgic
or cast like an
movie
actual
revival.
Asian person as Charlie Chan.
if you have the ability to go back to the 80s and just do that and just like convince whatever producer is just like, look, I don't know how to tell you this, but Peter Ustinov isn't the box office draw that I think you think it is.
He's not the guy.
Cast someone of any ethnicity, and then you fill the supporting roles with like the famous people or whatever. This movie just works like a lot better.
But also he works without him in it at all.
But then what are we doing? Like, what is it? It's not even a Charlie Chan movie.
It's just
like
a screwball comedy.
Chan Legacy, and it's the story about his budding young grandson.
But even
his first
then,
case.
you have to cast that role effectively,
Yeah.
because I don't know who this Richard Hatch guy is. He's
Yeah.
not the guy from Survivor.
Fair.
But it's like they didn't even cast like anyone who had any sort of like staying power in this role or whatever. So yeah, cast anyone.
I feel like it could have just been just a new character, just a detective who's a bumbling idiot who just kind of stumbles his way through it while everything kind of gets solved around
like
him.
Inspector Clouseau.
Yeah, they could have just done that.
More like that later movie where Peter Sellers had died, and so they got like Inspector Clouseau's like nephew.
Yeah.
They did like one movie where
was
they
that?
did
Return
that.
of the Pink
I
Panther?
think that's
Yeah.
like Curse of the Pink
yeah.
Panther or
Right.
something. Hey, another Curse movie. There we go. Yeah, shit.
But like, and then the movie would have been remarkably and everything else can stay the same, and the movie would have been remarkably better.
It's like a solid 3 stars, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because of Charlie Chan and because of the unfortunate stereotyping in it, it paints like a really disappointing brush over this.
It does,
you know?
but I also think including those elements, it's not a positive thing, but it runs the entire gamut of the emotional spectrum that you get like a whole different reaction, like scene to scene of it. I was experiencing just so many different, again, amazing highs at like all the good practical comedy slapstick, and then, whoa, jeez, what the hell? It's like whiplash, the way that it affects you. So for that one, it's just as like a viewing experience, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10, maybe.
Sure.
You know?
I mean, let's keep on track with the way
down
we
from
always
like
do.
from like maybe like a 7 if like you just cast like a fucking Asian person as Charlie Chan and his grandson.
I mean, before I sat down to watch this movie, I thought we were all pretty universally going to be all like, yeah, this movie's a whole lot of nothing, but are we saying this maybe has a certain something? Are we crazy enough to say that this movie maybe has a certain something to it? Yeah.
And the weird thing is, I can see the studios making this decision where they're trying to cash in on that nostalgia bait from the 1980s. Like, oh, remember stories from like the 1930s that like bring some of those back? Who was a character that made a bunch of movies like Charlie Chan? Let's just do that. Like they had.
Are we crazy enough to bring back Charlie Chan for the 80s?
I mean, people love it.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, as I mentioned last time, the last time there was like a Charlie Chan movie in theaters was 1949.
Yeah.
There was a massive gulf where like this was not a character in pop culture outside of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which I don't think was a popular Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
But we do that today. Like, think of all the movies in the 90s that were based off shows from the 60s.
Look, I was going to bring that up too. It's obviously it's not really like the same thing, but it's the same kind of principle of why did they make movies based on The Shadow or The Phantom in
Or the
90s?
Honeymooners, or like,
or the Addams Family.
the Addams Family,
Or the Flintstones.
Look, I will say,
very popular.
from when the Addams Family TV show came out to the first movie in 1991, less of a gulf than when the last Charlie Chan movie came out.
yeah.
There was like
But there-
several decades without
But it
Charlie
is-
Chan being a character.
it is nostalgia bait for something that happened like 40, 50 years ago. Like, are people of that generation clamoring for an adaptation of something like
Maybe
Peanuts or like
they
I don't know.
they still do it now because like if you were like a kid in the 30s and 40s and could go to see a Charlie Chan movie and really loved it because thought it was funny,
I
and
mean-
now you're then it's like 40 almost 30, 40 years later, you're now in your late 30s, early 40s. Like, I remember this as a kid because that's what drives our entire media landscape right now.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like I'm fucking one to talk. I saw the trailer for the He-Man movie that's coming out, and like that looks like it's exactly what it's supposed to be, and I'll be there on day fucking 1.
Yeah.
It looks dumb fun, and I'll be there.
And
I'm there for it.
I can see that being the exact same logic as why you bring back a Charlie Chan movie, and they like it's funnier if it's at the time at least it's funnier to them if the actor playing Charlie Chan is not actually Asian, but instead is doing this stereotype with the taped back eyelids. I think with Charlie Chan, it was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be just an awful yellow-faced travesty of a movie that everyone kind of wishes never happened. And watching it, like, yeah, I didn't like love it.
No,
I don't want to watch it again. But there are moments when I laughed out loud myself in my house.
Is it fair to say, like, it could have been worse?
It could have been way.
it could have been
so
way
much
worse.
If you have none of the slapstick, if you have none of like the well constructed and shot and planned out action sequences, this would have been a fucking chore to get through.
It would have been so boring.
But because it had it, like it weirdly won me over a tinge. Like it doesn't excuse the yellow face at all. But thank God the slapstick shit was there.
But and that's one of the other interesting. Like the problem is the yellow face. It's not even the problem. Like how Charlie Chan is portrayed in the movie isn't even really that much of a problem.
Because he's barely a character.
Because he's barely a character. He's not really influential on the plot.
Yeah.
But he's not. Like he everyone around him likes him. Everybody around him thinks he's very smart, asks him for advice, thinks that he's the one who can solve the problems. They like his style, they want to adopt it. Everyone has a massive amount of respect for him. They defer to him. Nobody talks down to him. No one says like I can't understand do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? That never happens in the movie.
He's the center of attention. He commands everyone's respect. He's always the sharpest guy in the room. Yeah.
He doesn't open a fortune cookie. He doesn't have buck teeth. He
He doesn't judo chop people.
He does judo chop one at a time.
That is the major thing.
That is the one thing he does that's maybe a problem.
And maybe that was just like we got to film this scene, and the actor was like, "There's no time for that." It's like,
I took this role for one reason and one reason only.
I need an action sequence.
So the yellow face is for sure problematic, but honestly, the actual portrayal of the character, even like even with the sneering, is just
not
terrible.
All right.
All right, well, Brett, thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
being
coming
here.
back.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having like this.
discussion episode.
We talked about her.
She was such a
came up.
such a wonderful part of these movies. Like she was never annoying. I
Nope.
found her incredibly endearing. She is absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
And I think she had
She's
real
going places.
She had real comedy chops that was keeping up and was keeping up with everyone.
Even
in
in that, you can every once in a while you go back to the beginning of someone's career. You see them in like a role like this where they're like 7th on the call sheet or whatever. They have like a real throwaway role, but you can just tell this is a movie star
In the making.
In the making, and obviously,
Yep.
and
hang in there,
happened
Michelle.
right away.
Best years are yet to come.
And she's what, 22 at this
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Like she's knocking it out of
She's
the
a
park
baby.
for 22.
Yeah.
Even the falling off the horse, and rolling down the fields, like it was genuinely funny.
Yeah.
How there's like, they're just still rolling, and you can tell it's not a stunt double. It's Michelle Pfeiffer just rolling down the thing, like she's got straw in her mouth and she's just keeping it there.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think it's not a great movie to start your career on,
But I
like,
hope she had a good time.
Yeah.
I hope she had fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was Charlie Chan and the Curse of the Dragon Queen, directed by Clive Donner. If you like this episode, please check out our back catalog of episodes.
We got
Brett's been on a
messages.
bunch of episodes. Brett has been on this show back when we were called The Fuck Is This.
Yeah.
Go listen to his episodes, to all those episodes, and listen to some other episodes too. And you can follow us on some of the social media.
Yep.
We'd like to thank Eddie Lamb for his fantastic theme music. You can follow me on Letterboxd. I'm Kaz.
Yeah. And I'm Jameson.
And I'm Brett.
Then that's Brett. All right.
And there's absolutely no closing line we can go out on this.
I fucking stopped doing that.
No, we
man.
stopped doing this?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Well, we need to figure out how we're gonna close the show now.
man, you know what?
What? Do it.
No, I
Don't even think about it. Just do it.
I should have bought a fortune cookie and read it.
You can't buy one. You have to buy a
I gotta
bag.
buy like an
That's the
entire
thing
pack
is you
of
can
it,
never
yeah.
just go and buy a single fortune cookie.
Yeah.
No, there's truly no way we can close this movie without being super effective.
I got one, but
All right.
like you set him up. Kaz, ask Brett why he's dressed as Batman.
All right, Brett, why are you dressed as Batman?
I don't know. how this
Because he is Batman, you moron. That's a Michelle Pfeiffer
That's
line.
a Michelle Pfeiffer line.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the only one. All right, goodbye, everyone.